Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Meet Praneeth. I hope you had a wonderful start of the new year. So I wish you all a very happy new year. Now, as you know from the title already, today we are going to talk about all the documents and the evidence that you would need to file the form I-485. And that is also known as adjustment of status. So let's dive into this video and let's go through all of these documents that you need to have once your I-140 is approved and once your priority date becomes correct. So before going into the documents, let me say congratulations to all of you, because you're watching this video because your I-140 is approved and you're at the very final step of filing your form I-485, which is also known as adjustment of status. So there are a list of 15 documents that I have prepared and I think are very important, and you should be all ready with these documents and evidences so that the attorney can file your case as soon as possible. Or if you're filing on your own, that would also help you with all the documents in hand, all the copies in hand. You just fill the form and file it with the uscis. So let's start with the documents. So there are 15 documents, as I said. The first is I-140 approval letter. So once your I-140 is approved, you will get a letter from uscis stating that your case was approved and what is your priority date. And this letter is very important for uscis to see what your priority date is and in what order your case would be adjudicated when you file your 485. The second is passport. So let's say you have a current passport and you also had a passport which has expired. So all the passports that you have owned need to have a copy of all the pages. You have to get a scanned copy of all the pages from all the passports and have them ready and just name them. For example, let's say John Doe current passport, which let's say starts from today till 10 years from now, or whatever the expiry date is, and then the old passport, what was the date it was issued from, what was the date it kind of expired on. So make copies of all the pages from the old and new passports and have them ready. The third is I-94. So as you might be, let's say, traveling on H-1B or L-1 or any other visas like F-1, whenever you enter United States, you get a I-94 form. That basically just takes into account that, well, you got out of the country and then you entered in this particular visa, and this was the date and this was your class of admission. So go on to the Google, search for I-94 online, and then fill in your details and get that I-94 form out. If you have all the I-94 saved with you, that's perfect. Like all the times that you entered the country, you'll get your I-94. So if all of them are saved with you, that's perfect. If not, then you can also use the current one and use the number from there to put in the travel history, which I'm going to talk about next. So the fourth is travel history. So all the times that you went out of the country, like in and out of the country, you have to have a recorded date and the date when you entered the country and the date when you exit the country, and also match that travel history with your I-94. So that and on the I-94 the website, you will also find this information called traveler's history. So once you click on that button, it'll take you to a page and it'll show you all the times when your entry and exit were recorded. Now, once you have all this sorted, the fifth one is birth certificate. And this is one of the very important documents that you would need. Now, there are a few things to take care about your birth certificate. So let's say your birth certificate was in your regional language. So you have to first of all get it translated into English so that the US guys can accept it. And if there are any mistakes, so check your birth certificate thoroughly. So if there are any mistakes with the name, spellings, get it all corrected, and it should match the spelling of your name on your passport. So everything on your passport should match with the birth certificate and vice versa. So make sure that is done. Also, if there is any missing information and you want to add it to the birth certificate, I think there is a form that you can ask your lawyer to give you, and then you can ask your parents back in your home country to get that signed and add that information. Like it's a kind of substitute form which will go along with your birth certificate, and that will show USCIS that all the information is correct and all information is up to date. Now the next one is sixth one is all visa stamps. So when I entered the United States, I was on F1, then I was on F1 OPT. So I had an OPT AD card, and then I was on H1 before I received my green card. So you have to have the copies or the scanned copies of all the visa stamps that you have received before you file your I-485. So make sure you get all of them. Some might be in your old passport, some might be in your current passport. So make sure you have the copies of all the stamps that you have got. The seventh is I-797. So whenever you have a I-797 issued to you, that would be the case is when you have an L1 visa, an H1 visa, an H4 visa, or let's say I think these are the major categories where you get I-797. So make sure you have all the copies of I-797 with you, scanned and ready to go, and check if your periods of stay on those visas match with the I-797. Then the eighth one is I-20 and DS-2019. So I-20, most of you might be familiar with. So whenever you enter the United States on an F1 visa, you're issued an I-20 by the university. And that I-20 has a service number which is connected to your F1 visa. So make sure all the I-20s that were issued to you are with you and our scanned copies are ready to go. Then DS-2019 would be something that the people who came on J1 visa, which is the research scholar visa, would need that. So a DS-2019 is issued by the institution that allows that person to come to United States on J1 visa and perform their research. So that would also be needed as a scanned copy. So then the ninth is educational degrees. So let's say you came here for your bachelor's, then you did your master's, did your PhD, or whatever level of education you have acquired. You have to have the degrees and scanned copies of those degrees ready to go for your 485. Then comes the 10th one, which is the photos. So I think generally USCIS will ask for 6 photos, or your attorney will ask for 6 photos. I would say go for 8. They should be recent, not more than 6 months old within your filing of I-485. I would say just go and before you file, just get new photos and submit it with the attorney. I think that should be the right way to go. 8 photos I think should be standard. You can take 8, you can keep 2 with you, and rest whatever is required by the attorney, you can send those photos to the attorneys. Then the 11th is marriage certificate. So let's say you are filing your I-485 as a married person, and so you should have your marriage certificate if your dependent is filing along with you. If not, then also you should send that certificate along to the USCIS, so that later when your spouse files for a green card, he or she has no problem showing to USCIS that you were married at the time of your 485 filing. So do submit your marriage certificate, and make sure the marriage certificate is in English. It's translated into English. It has all the important information like your name, your spouse's name, date of marriage, place of marriage, and all the information that is required. Then the 12th one is divorce decree. So in case you were divorced before you were filing for your I-485, then you have to show that information in the divorce decree format to the USCIS. The 13th is J1 waiver. Now, let's say you were here on a J1 visa, and some of you might not be aware, some of you might be aware that once you come on J1 visa, sometimes you have this 2-year home residency rule. Now, what that rule is that, let's say if that rule is stamped on your passport, that means you have to go back to your home country, stay there for 2 years before you can come to United States and resume your J1 or any other visa that you want from the government. But there's an exception to this. So you can file for a motion which is called, if I'm not wrong, it's called no objection certificate from your country. So it's a process which I'll definitely explain in one of the videos which will be coming soon. So my spouse went through the whole J1 process, and if you guys are interested, J1 waiver process, if you guys are interested, let me know. I'll be very happy to make a detailed video of each step that goes into it and how you obtain the waiver from USCIS. So that waiver would be required from the USCIS to for them to process your case and give you and adjudicate your case. Okay, the 14th is tax returns. Now, some attorneys might say that, you should submit your tax returns. Some say that, it's not needed, only will be needed in the time of interview. But what I did in my case, that I had my 5 years of tax returns submitted along with my all the other documents. I think that by submitting your tax returns, USCIS also can quickly check them and see, you have paid your taxes, you have regular income from your job, and you don't have any intentions of basically doing jobs outside of your focus, or let's say outside of your employment, and it's not that you're not paying your taxes. So I think that's a good way to show USCIS that you are being a good citizen, you're a loyal citizen, and you're paying your taxes on time. Now, the 15th one is very important, and it's called I-693 medicals. So some attorneys say that, well, you can file your medicals or you can submit your medicals when USCIS issues an RFE asking for them. But in my case, and I think now most of the attorneys and who are going to file your case would say that you should submit your medicals right away with your 485, and I think that's a good practice. So how would you get a doctor? Is like you can go to Google and you can say find my doctor USCIS. It will open a link. You'll go put in your zip code, and that will open and show you all the doctors that are near your area, which will basically help you file this report and give that copy of I-693, which is all packaged and ready to go for USCIS to look at. And you should not open that copy. You should not touch that copy. Anyhow, whatever comes from the doctor's office should directly go to the attorneys, and the attorneys should file it with the USCIS. So that is the 15th and the most important I-693 medicals that are required to file with your 485. Now, let me also cover a few other forms that you should file with your 485. That is I-765, which is employment authorization, and I-131, which is advance parole. Now, these are free to file, so do file them with your case, with your 485, because that would help them, USCIS, to issue your EAD and I-131, which can help you travel in and out of the country and work in the country as a legal resident. So yeah, I think this was it. These were the most important documents I wanted to talk about, and make sure you have all the information regarding these documents. Feel free to drop in a comment and let me know if you want me to cover a very specific topic. I would be very happy to. Also, once again, thank you so much for showing all the love and support. I know the channel is now 7 months old, and I'm trying to be consistent, try to make videos which provide legit information to you, and I think you in return are also showing a lot of love and support. So really thank you for all of that. And yeah, please feel free to let me know if you have any questions, or if you want to discuss your case with me. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and say a hi. I'll be very happy to reply. Sometimes it just takes time to get through the messages, get through the comments, so I might be delayed, but I will definitely get back to you in time. So have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you in the next video the coming Friday. Thank you so much.